Well, it's been a slow news night for TriMet News, other than the massive MAX delays, which is becoming a daily event. And there McFarland sits untouched, unscathed. His system falls apart around him. Nobody asks any questions. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Consuelo Sargoza. She's going to ask a question here. And we're going to watch that, and then I'm going to comment. Okay, so watch our... What is she? She's... I don't know, she's a minority representative, or I'm not sure. Doesn't really matter, but listen to her question.
And we have colleagues around here.
Yes, thank you for your good work. It's great information. And I know Neil said earlier that, looking at transfer time and looking at more frequent service, to me they're both and. So and I'm glad we're going to restore, hopefully we'll restore more frequent time. But again, one of the things that I'm still trying to make more sense of as we look at transfer time, and I know we don't want to take a lot of time talking about this today right now, but what is the piece?
What do you mean you don't want to take more time talking about this today? This is one of the biggest problems I have with this board of directors. I'm going to bring this up at the next board meeting. I'm going to speak to the resolution about transparency that's coming up. My biggest problem with these people is that they are only putting in a couple hours once a month, and they're not doing the job properly. As you can hear her talking here, you can tell she doesn't really know what she's talking about. She's asking some question, but you can tell she doesn't really understand what she's asking. If they can't put in the appropriate amount of time to deal with whatever comes up during these board meetings, and they shouldn't be on the board. All the times those bums on the TriMet board left before the public testimony was over, although we already knew that public testimony is completely meaningless because the board has ended its business. They're just like, well, we'll let you talk because we're being nice. Anytime any rep got up and left, they should immediately be kicked off the list. You can't put in the time. I mean, they should find people who can put in one day a month, a whole day, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for all I'm concerned. And if you can't put in the commitment, then you don't need to be on that board. There's plenty of people qualified to be on that board. We don't need all these cronies and all these political appointees that don't know a goddamn thing about transit. Why don't you try, Kitzhaber, to get somebody on the board that actually understands transit instead of your goddamn cronies?
That's going to give us concrete information in terms of the transfer time and the frequent service, having more frequent service line back on in community. So what is the difference there? I mean, is it 5% increase? Is it 10%? Is it 20%? So for me, that is really important to try to find out what that looks like so that I can really make informed decisions about as we get into more robust discussion about this. So where I think this is great. Again, it's not giving me that piece of information. I still feel like I have a missing piece of information to really look at what's the gain or what's the loss. And hopefully it will be a gain, but I don't know what that is. But your work is great, but again, I still feel like I'm missing that piece.
Look forward to working with you to make sure you have the information you need as you consider these decisions.
Thank you.
Your work is great. Your work is great. And, oh, by the way, we don't have the information you need. We've only been studying the transfer thing for 6 months, but we don't have the information you need. Now, if you try to track here a little bit, you'll see that you'll never hear another thing about this at a board meeting. Questions get asked, never followed up again at another board meeting. And you'll see that here, though. It's just, they ask a question, they say, we'll find out, but we never find out, those of us watching, what they found out, because they actually didn't find out anything. They just made the usual answer and then went about their business. Oh, but your work is great, Janelle. Your work is great. Have we ever heard anybody say your work's not great? No, we've never heard anybody. We've never seen a board member. Actually, I'll take that back. Lynn Learback. Well, he didn't criticize any staff, but he did go against the prevailing paradigm on the board, and you see where that ended him up out. So you know what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a board that has no interest in working with the citizens. We're dealing with a board that supports McFarland and everything he's messed up since he's got there.